And so now I will introduce my guest today. We've got Fig Solves here. Let me close this out. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, Chris?
Good. It's an honor to have you on here, bub.
It's an honor to be here, and I just want to thank you and tell you I appreciate you for everything that you do, especially all the missing persons cases. I think it's awesome, and it's why I wanted to see if I could be on your show and help with anything, bring awareness. So I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. You know what? I made a mistake. Nope. I'm using StreamYard. I just realized that. I am so sorry, guys. Let me quickly pull this up. I'm so used to using OBS. So everybody's like, where's the pictures? I am so sorry. Let me quickly recap. So this is Samantha Atnip, missing from Quartzsite, Arizona. I'm so sorry, guys. She's 23 years old. Last seen on January 24th. Looks like she's got blonde hair. There's not much details, but I will put the details in the description after. And the phone number, unfortunately, is, let's see if I can see it. Move that over. So it's 928-927-4644. So, and then let me quickly, I apologize, Fig.
No problem.
So used to my OBS. And so this is Graham Latcher, last seen on June 6th. Looks like they did find his beanie on somewhere at the beginning of August. He is 37 years old. He has brown hair, long beard, glasses. He's 5'11", does have medical needs, and does know a number of different languages. His primary is English. And the phone number for that is 207-947-7382. Last seen Bangor, Maine. Okay. Apologize about that, guys. All right. So you, of course, started a YouTube channel, and you started covering the Delphi murders, correct?
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple of your videos. You did a really amazing video on the explanation of what could be a possibility of the two sketches of how that could have come about. I thought that was really good. Maybe if we get time, maybe we could look at that as well. I think it's brilliant. So just a recap, I think everybody is pretty familiar with this case, but I'm not going to do the full timeline like I usually do, but we'll just quickly. So what we got here is we've got a murder that took place 5 years ago on February 13th, 2017 of two young girls, Libby and Abby. Then we fast forward to this Kegan Kline, who was arrested on CP charges. And he, on his device, he was using an account called Anthony_Shots, and he was talking to underage girls. It turns out that he happened to be, this Anthony Shots account was actually in contact with Libby's friend, and then Libby the day she was murdered. And then we fast forward to the middle of August, and now they are doing a search in the Wabash River, which was 6 minutes from his old residence in Peru. And then just on the 1st of September, his cousin, Travis Trexler, or half cousin would it be, or second cousin?
Yeah, Tony Kline's cousin.
Tony Kline's cousin.
Yeah. So Kegan's second cousin, yes.
Yeah.
And then how you do it.
Yep. And so he was arrested on the 1st, and he had a warrant for a DUI. Which was issued back in November, I believe. And so, and now we've kind of caught up to that. So you did a video.
Search right now is happening in Miami.
You did a video which is called The Alibi, and you put this out like 4 months ago, which is amazing. Do you want to explain a little bit of that, and then we'll play it?
Yeah, so it was breaking the alibi. And I received the transcripts early, so I was able to look at things a little bit earlier than most people. And after reading the transcripts, a 194-page transcript that just it kept me up. It was very troublesome, so I couldn't sleep. So I remember getting up and just thinking, like, what stuck out to me is that Country Club Road. They were really interested about what was going on at that Country Club Road. And I think it had to do with the alibi. So I kind of cross-referenced the Kline's friends I looked up people who live on Country Club Road, and just there was a name that popped up, and that's kind of where I discovered this person. Shared that information with law enforcement. I'm sure they already knew about a cousin living on that road, but I was also told by law enforcement friends that never assume that they know something and just send it in anyways.
Right.
And then my hopes have always been, if this person does, if a family member knows something and they're interested about Country Club Road, then I urge this person to come forward and to tell law enforcement what they know. That was kind of the point of the video.
No, it's awesome. So we're going to play it. So what's interesting about this Country Club Road is that apparently the day of the murders, now Kegan's phone was pinging off the Wi-Fi near this Country Club Road.
Right. Yeah. And I think maybe during the time of the murders is what we're assuming, that law enforcement said that they know that he logged in there and that he was looking at porn there. So not just that the phone was there, but that he was looking at porn. And they said, you wouldn't do that at your grandma and grandpa's house. So we know you weren't there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, who else lives there? It's not grandma and grandpa. Who would he be comfortable enough to go look at porn at? So maybe a family member. And then when I found this person, I didn't know it was a family member at first. I just saw that they both worked at Subaru together, Tony Kline and Trexler. And then reading the obituary of Tony's father, I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of Trexlers in this obituary. And then I kind of looked and put it together.
That's amazing. So I'm just kind of playing it as you're talking, and I'll just kind of hit play. And so this is the Country Club, and who you've got blurred out is Trexler, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so, yep.
Yeah, and he could be. Yeah, I'm not accusing him of anything.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not accusing any of the Klines, anyone. I don't know who committed this crime. I'm hoping that one of these people do know, and that they do the right thing and turn in information to law enforcement. That's my hope. Sure.
Then we've got the famous picture of them going to Vegas, and then this is Kegan. Looks like at a wedding.
Yeah, when he was an ordained minister apparently, and that was him.
Yeah,
might have been at his mom's wedding. Mm-hmm. So I was just I work on the case with Chickpea, and she gets a lot of good photo shots and stuff for me. So we kind of worked on this together, a lot of information, and then that was interesting. They're in a red Jeep. In the last one, I kind of sent a post earlier, look for a red Jeep, and that's just something that could be interesting. Because there's different rumors of what was at the CPS building.
Yeah.
White truck. I've heard Jeep. I've heard white truck. I've heard car without plates. So there's a lot of rumors out there. So who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. I've always kind of thought it, if the guy, whoever the killer is, was smart enough, or the getaway driver, because when I got this lemon of a car from out of state and I had to get it registered and it wouldn't register, so I had to keep getting temporary plates. I was kind of thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, this would be so easy to get one of these. And then I was kind of looking up that this is kind of a common thing where they get these fake paper plate. I know it sounds funny. People, when I used to say paper plates, they're thinking paper plates.
Oh,
they're license plates, but they're paper, and they're temporary tags is what they call them. And apparently you can find sites like they used to be on like Facebook that you can actually just pay some people and they just whip up some fake ones that can't be traced back anywhere. And that would be, apparently they do that with like drug dealers do that when they're, carrying their product across states or whatever, because then it can't be traced back. So it's pretty clever, and it wouldn't be surprising.
Yeah, it's interesting. So that was just kind of showing that maybe. Well, I know he worked at Chrysler, so maybe that's where they strengthen their cousin relationship and plotted things.
So we're talking about Tony Kline and Trexler, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So, because he worked at we've seen a couple of pictures. And you've got one where he's kind of in that hockey mask.
Oh yeah, like the Jason mask.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. That's just a shot of the CPS building.
Oh, is that what that is? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Gosh, I know. You know what's funny is I've seen this helicopter footage a million times, and I'm always focused on the wooded area that I forgot that this was kind of because they tore that down. So
yeah, and I think this one was from opposite angle. That's why I found it interesting. That I found it, and I'm like, oh, usually it's from the other side.
Right. And so what you're kind of showing here is parts of the transcript, correct?
Correct.
And so this is kind of where he's getting interrogated and about where he was at, I guess. Is this?
Yes.
Yep.
Where he's having to defend himself where he was that day. He was saying he was at his grandparents' house, and since law enforcement was saying you weren't there, so that to me sounds like they're kind of breaking alibi.
Yeah. So the question is, you went somewhere near your grandparents' house, but you did not go to your grandparents' house,
right?
Which is on Pop-Up Hike, and I think you show that here.
Yeah. And so you could see vaguely kind of where Pop-Pop Hike and Country Club Road intersect right there. So yeah, that's true. That's where they live. But yeah, further down Country Club Road, that's where possible cousins stayed.
Yeah, the Trexler. Yep. And we'll I think you've got an overview look at it, and I asked as well. Let me quickly. What's up, Tom, man? Hello, Mob Crew. I followed up on the info we discussed the other day. That guy is a primary suspect in OBG sketch. Crazy revelations for sure. That guy is a primary suspect in original B sketch. Yeah, could be. We're hoping that things start coming together here. And so here's him just kind of
you just scan through it.
Basically, he's kind of a convulsive liar from what we've learned from his his half brother, and so here you show a good. So this is about 2.3 miles, 5 minutes from each other.
Mm-hmm.
So the grandma and grandpa live at the Pop-Up Hike, and then you've got Travis Trexler and some other family members that live at the Country Club Road, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So again, it's speculation. I don't know if that's where there was a phone, but I just thought it's interesting that a family member lives on Country Club Road, and that's where they're wanting an alibi to be broken.
Yeah.
So who knows if he does know something? Yeah, it'd be great for him to let law enforcement know what he knows, and it could just be strange coincidences.
They're adding up. There's so many. And then you're kind of showing just an overview of
just some pictures that were online. So yeah, he was arrested. So here's something interesting, that another coincidence, and he was first, I think, arrested. Trexler was November 2021, around the same time that Tony Kline's house was raided.
That is interesting. Yeah, so I am going to pull that up. So let's see. Yeah, 2021. So here, I've got it right here. And so that they did another raid on what day? Do you know that exactly?
So the best we have is in the Barbara McDonald transcript, where he said, well, they did a raid 2 or 3 Fridays ago, and that was on December 9th when he said that. So 2 or 3 weeks before December 9th.
Okay,
so that's about the best factual information we have on when it actually took place.
Yeah, interesting. So here's just kind of a rundown of his background. It's nothing extensive. Obviously, his last one, this is the pending one, I believe, is the 1123, which is where there's the DUI. Then we have failure to, so a seatbelt violation, which was on that same year last year on July. Then we've got theft in the year prior, which is a misdemeanor. I believe that's like the $300 or $400 thing that I saw. And then another violation, so another DUI here, and that's in 2015. So that's a couple of years before the murder. So there isn't anything really major before the murder or after directly. Then we've got just another suspended license, 2014. Another suspended license along with the safety belt. Disregarding the stop sign. Most of these, and safety belt, littering. Seatbelt, expired license, seatbelt, another seatbelt. Guy doesn't care for seatbelts. And then we've got this one, which looks like his first one, maybe, or as far as it goes back, which is in 2003. He had possession of marijuana and consuming alcohol. So,
all right. So no assault, no physical violence, nothing that would lead someone to believe that he was involved in any way.
Yeah, but still could know something. Like I said,
still could know something, and yeah, if he doesn't, he doesn't. But yeah, so I still thought it was interesting, some of the coincidences.
They're just adding up, and so now they took Labor Day weekend off, because I went live. I think, what was it, Monday? So that was Labor Day. And I hadn't seen anything for like Monday or Sunday. So it looked like they took maybe a couple of days off, or because usually in Reddit, they typically update when they're, usually someone's out there saying, hey, they're searching again today. So now this would be almost week 4 now that they've been out there. Or week 3, because they started on the 16th. So yeah, 3 weeks basically. So, and they basically dammed off the area prior to the river, so the water level is much lower. And then they brought out this crash reconstruction team. Which what's your thoughts on this with the reconstruction team?
So I didn't know much about it. I talked to Steve this morning. I think Steve's here from True Crime Web. And me being ignorant to it, I looked for expert opinion. And he told me this was a positive. And he could correct me if I'm wrong, but that, there's resources. I understand that as a business consultant, and you wouldn't bring out resources, especially expensive equipment, unless there's some movement. So he was pretty positive, optimistic that if they brought this out, that they might have found something. So if he's optimistic and he's the expert, then I'm optimistic with him.
Yeah. Tom left. I think he holds key info. He also needs to invest in a window tint. I felt loud. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it. So they've got this out, and then there's video of them with these guys when they're out there. They were actually flying the drone. I have some footage of that as well. And I'm not no professional, but I've had now some experience in you can set up some apps, and they can do some amazing things with the drone. And basically, I noticed they were kind of flying in a grid area, and basically it just looks like they were mapping in what's like 3D real time. And with the water level being so low, I'm sure with their technology, they'd be able to kind of see almost everything, even under the water, if it's low enough. And because with what we had with our drone, when we went searching and using the Drone Deploy app, we were able to kind of do a thing in front of our house, and we could kind of see where they had dug the lines for, like the Google Fiber. It's pretty crazy. What you can do with the drones these days, it's amazing.
Yeah, so with connecting these dots, so if it was rumored that Kegan was talking to law enforcement. When ISP came in, he gave them some information, and then all of a sudden they're doing searches out there, and now maybe they found something. So I think we're getting some pieces together that hopefully is going to have a good story that we could bring someone to justice. Would be the end of the story, but it seems like it's leading there.
Yeah. I think we're all here. We want it to be solved. I think a lot of us are still have been in shock. We've never seen anything, as far as Delphi related. I mean, we don't know 100%, but it just doesn't seem like. I mean, what do you think the odds are that this would just be for, I put up 3 options. One, it just has nothing to do with Kegan Kline, and it's just something else that we just haven't heard. But you would think, if it was that, they would come out and say something. I think the second one would be, it has to do with his case, but they've had him nailed to the wall, and he's basically admitted. I don't see what else they would need, and would they work a deal to, he's facing 30 charges, would they really risk spending all this manpower and time just for another device that may have a little bit more, material on it?
Right. At this point, I feel like it is related to the Delphi case.
Yeah.
That's just, I have no verification of that from law enforcement, but it seems, if I'm a betting person, I would say at this point, if it was only 2 days, all right, maybe it was an exercise, but I think by this point, like you said, the resources that they're putting to it, it's something big. Now, I think the other option could be, is Kegan telling the truth? Is he just pulling one over on law enforcement? Maybe that's possible, but I'm going to stay optimistic.
Yeah, actually, I did have a 4th one. I forgot I took it off, but I had a 4th one down here, and it's Kegan is just bullshitting. But the Murder Sheet put out a new episode literally a couple of hours ago, and so they did an interview with I got to look at their names so I don't butcher it. So Brett and Alice from the prosecutors. Honestly, I've never heard of the prosecutors, but anyway, obviously they are prosecutors, and so they have a deep experience. And basically, I hadn't heard the whole podcast, just kind of listened to about the first half, but they just kind of, evaluated from what they've experienced and what's going on here. And they said it's more than likely that, with him being pulled out of county, that it's more than likely that they're doing a deal than not. And then the other thing they were talking about is how Kegan's trial has been pushed back so much, and they feel like they wouldn't have done that unless there's some kind of cooperation for either his case or, something else, because, now they did say that the only variable in that would be the COVID kind of causing problems, but they said, it's more than likely the latter or the former, that it's, he's cooperating.
And even if I get flack for this, I do want to commend Kegan Kline if he did in fact reveal something that he knew. Despite all the wrong that he did, this is the right thing to do, to come forward and tell people what he knows. So if this is true, I mean, he's doing the right thing there.
Yeah. And then we see, so this is kind of interesting. So here's a picture of Tony Kline. This was posted not too long ago by this guy, Reggie. It says Peru most wanted, stop by. And what's kind of interesting is, not that one, is this kind of got onto a certain Facebook post, and Anna Williams is, you haven't really seen her talk much about Kegan and stuff. She's been kind of quiet. I thought this was kind of interesting that, she responded to this post. And she says, this pretty much sums it up. And it's in reply to this, where this is Tony Kline from Peru. He thinks he's very funny. Since your name is being tossed around in connection to the murder of children, maybe you should refrain from making jokes about it. Human garbage. And so that's basically Anna Williams saying this. I agree, which I think is kind of interesting that she's kind of acknowledged the Klines. Something that I haven't seen before. Can't put too much stock into it, but it is interesting. And it just makes me feel bad for her. But
yeah, so someone asked this, like why I got involved. Someone put it in chat, and yeah, Sleuth, thanks Sleuth answering it. So my cousin was shot and killed in 2018, my first cousin, and they made a podcast about it, and True Crime Garage covered it. And that's kind of what got me into Delphi, looking into that case, looking up suspects, working with sending law enforcement things, and then listening to True Crime Garage and just searching my cousin's name. Something Delphi kept coming up. I'm like, what is Delphi? I had no idea what Delphi was. So that's
because they were like covering it in between that.
Yes. So that's kind of how I got into wanting to help if I could help. And I picked one case, and it was this case because it was showing up in my algorithm. I don't know the families. I don't know anything other than that. It's maybe serendipitous. I don't know. But I can kind of speak from the family in my own case, where law enforcement doesn't proactively call us. So I was like, I would talk to law enforcement. I was representing my family in this. So they don't let you know every step of the way. They're not like, hey, we're gonna do this, this, and this. No, I would call them, find things out, give them information. So they could be working ahead of schedule, and especially you don't want to get the family too excited about things as well. So
sure.
So the families aren't going to be in the loop on everything, just because they don't. There's certain things that obviously you don't want out there, and families they talk to other family members, might share things. So it's not that their law enforcement is mistreating the family. They're just trying to protect the case, I believe.
Sure.
So yeah, she's probably curious too, and law enforcement might not have told them exactly what they're doing out there just yet. But yeah, it's hopefully it is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear about that. That's terrible. But that's great. You turned, this into something where, now you've got this channel and you've done some amazing work right out of the gate. It's amazing.
So I know how it is to see someone's face, because this is a pretty big case. My cousin was a scientist, and I know when I see the person, just the feelings that it gives you when you see someone who is possibly connected to the murder of a loved one.
Oh, right.
And you're just like, yeah, it makes me sick. Like I don't. And the family of Libby and Abby, they have it worse because they still don't have someone in handcuffs in jail, where my family does. So my heart really goes out to them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough. I am so sorry. So yeah, and so you did a video as well about these sketches, which was amazing. Because I think this has been one of the biggest downfalls of this case, where the public wants to help, but I think the public kind of go ahead.
Yeah, it's so tough. I still don't know about the sketches, but it would be one thing. I don't know, criticism, but it seems like sketches are for the public to help, and there is so much confusion about the sketches where people are left to speculate, and there's been contradicting statements. But in reality, I just think law enforcement doesn't know. They don't know if it's two people. They don't know if this is the same person, because they've changed their stance over time. So we put out one theory of maybe it was one person who changed their clothes, was kind of the gist of it.
Oh, I thought it was great. I had a similar theory, but it was kind of like backwards, the events of switching. But when I saw yours, I'm like, man, that actually makes sense. It was really well put together, and
appreciate it.
Yeah. So we covered Travis Trexler and his background. Nothing major, but now he's sitting in county, the Wabash County. Let's see, where do I have his?
Someone asked me earlier who arrested him, and I had to look it up, or actually ask someone and found out it was Miami County. They arrested him. So
yes.
It wasn't ISP that came out or FBI arrested him. So it was Miami County.
Yes, so and that makes so much sense because when you look up, so there's mycase.gov, which for like I tell people, some people ask me, where can I look up some stuff, and so this is mycase.in.gov, and you can just kind of type in if you know the name, middle name, and the birthday helps as well, and you can kind of pull up records, and there is another one which. I'll kind of pull up here in just a second, but it does say something interesting. So, oops, not that one. That's not the one I wanted. But yeah, it looks like he was transferred. That's basically what I'm trying to get to. So finally, this is, and this you can find this in Reddit. I could also put this in the description of the video, but we pull this up. And right now we're Indiana, find the offender, continue. Quickly get this in. Trexler, Travis. And what's interesting is two things pop up right here. And so here, if we look up here, this gives us a date, 9/1/2000 of this year. So this is clearly when he was arrested. It says Miami County. But it says custody status, out of custody. So it looks like they picked him up, like you said. And then as you can see, there's another one here. It doesn't have the date. So I think those are kind of like connected, which is Wabash County Jail. And this one says in custody. Not much more info than that. But if you want to look that up. But yep, so that looks like what you said is he was picked up in Miami. And now he's in Wabash County. Now someone told me. Oh, what's that?
I didn't know he was transferred. That's new information. That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Oh yeah, no problem. And like I said, this is just Vine, vinelink.com. I'll send you some emails afterwards if you need the link, buddy. But yeah. So I'd heard that he has got something like on the 8th, which would be tomorrow. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, I think there might be supposed to be in court. Right. Trexler soon. Is that on the 8th? He's supposed to be in court on the 8th.
Yeah, that's that's what I heard.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't found. Tom sent me that, and Tom's been amazing. He's an amazing supporter, and just shout out to Tom, and just helps me. He sends me some of the documents and stuff, so that's amazing.
Right.
So I know some people have some questions, and I think you're probably a good person to ask. Some people think that he is friend 2. What's your thoughts on that?
So no, he's not friend 2. He's not mentioned in the document. He's the only connection is that he possibly could be the person that lived on Country Club Road that Kegan was allegedly connected to on the day of the murders. So he's not friend 2. He's not friend 1.
So friend 2, I believe, is KT, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And then DH is friend 1. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I had seen some people. Because friend 2 is kind of like a drug dealer. And wasn't he kind of the one that was in Vegas with Kegan as well?
So I don't know if he was there, but the story from Kegan was that he went to Vegas. He was looking to buy weed for KT for friend 2. And then he met someone off of, Craigslist to like try and get some weed, but it wasn't good weed and something like that. But yeah, that's friend 2. And it was brought up. I think people might get confused because this person was brought up like the very next sentence after Country Club Road discussion. Then they're like, well, who is KT? So, but it's not. Trexler's not friend two. No.
Okay, gotcha. But I think the timing, with the warrants for a DUI, doesn't seem like that's real high on their list, especially when they're out there searching a river. It seems like a lot of the resources are fixed elsewhere. It seems like he's, got some, maybe he knows something for them to, be arrested. And
yeah, there was of course, Reddit rumors. There was a Reddit rumor 2 months ago that Trexler was looking to come clean. Someone posted that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I got a
And I'm like,
screenshot of it.
Okay.
Let's see. Is it in here? Oh my gosh, I literally took a screenshot of it. Oh, because I thought it was crazy. Did I know I do. Is it in this one? Let me. It must be in my other Delphi. Yep, here it is. Dispel rumor. Heard sources that a cousin is about to rat out KAK, and the end may be near. This is 2 months ago, and oops, one more here, and bam, 2 months ago, Trexler. This is in the same discussion. Trexler. 2 months ago. So a lot of coincidences, man. And this is well before the Wabash search.
Mm-hmm.
And I even did a video. I mean, I was covering Dylan Rounds, and I was looking up a particular blog that, the guy's just a disgusting human being, but he does have a blog, and there's few things that I've noticed he's had right. He does have some sources. Anyway, I noticed that he said that he had a source, somebody like on law enforcement side say that they were a breath away from solving this case. So I thought that was interesting. And that was like 2 months ago. So there's just so much. Robert Leah Kline is the only client I found in Country Club Papa Pike. Oh, Country Club / Papa Pike. He has an address on Papa Pike in February 2017. Do you know who he's talking about, Robert Kline?
I'll probably have to jog my memory, but I mean, there's Tony Kline's dad, who lived there, Jerry Kline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the person who lived right at that cross section was Jerry Kline.
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know the other Klines who live there.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. Just caught up on the comments here.
Yeah, thanks for everyone's messages about my cousin and everything. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Let's get caught up on there. So, all right. So we kind of talked about Trexler and, your kind of connection early on because of the murder sheet and the transcripts. And then, let's see, there's another thing I wanted to ask you. And where was it at? So what do you feel, let's just kind of look at Bridge Walk. So what do you think about the 43 seconds? And do you feel like why they haven't released any more audio or video?
I think they should at this point, unless they're certain that they have everything connected and that wouldn't help if they feel like they want help.
Yeah.
Now this person to me, so again, this is a blurry video, a bad picture, so it's maybe a bad sample size, but yeah, I see his waist being small. It's hard for me to see it being one of the Klines. But it's a bad, maybe it is. I don't know. So it's hard to make a definitive answer on who it is. It's just blurry, unfortunately, but it's just so weird how it morphs. I know all the shadows, and you're better at this than I am, but how it looks almost like an older gentleman, and then the frames towards the end of the 1.8 second, it starts to look like a younger person. So
yeah,
it's strange.
So I did some research on this, and I'll share just a little bit about it. But let me switch back to this real quick. And let's see real quick. Did we okay, so we touched on, and yeah, so you got some pictures. That's Travis. Maybe we'll kind of look at those pictures one more time too. I forgot we didn't quite finish everything on that. Oops. So I did a little bit of research into, so I got the same exact iPhone as Libby had, because I dressed up as BG. With that in mind, I wasn't trying to solve the case by dressing up as BG. I was just trying to get a perspective on, there's always been some arguments. Is that a fanny pack, or is that just a hoodie just kind of hanging down? And so I did multiple things, tried different outfits on. But the one thing that I was trying to figure out is what's just going on with the video itself. And the most likely, so there's compression, there's pixelation, there's out of focus. To me, this is clearly compression. Back in the day, with iPhones, typically, I think this would come from two sources. Either it came from a video that she made on her phone, which is kind of likely, but it gets sent to the iCloud. But back in the day, you would actually have to click a box, because what happens is you send your videos to the iCloud, and to save space, iCloud shrinks that file. So you're filming in HD, but then when it gets sent to the cloud, to save space, it compresses it. Yep. And so a lot of people were having troubles back in the day, because they would go to look at their their photos and videos, and it'd look like that. And what it was is you had to click a certain box, which would allow it to uncompress, or it would just send it to the cloud in its full form, and it wouldn't compress. And we learned that the phone was reset days before or weeks before their murders. I feel like that's a good possibility that when she reset the phone, that probably didn't get, that box didn't get checked. And so that could be one possibility. The other one is pretty much the same thing, except it's a Snapchat, because, she was taking Snapchat photos. And would make sense why it's only 43 seconds. She would be holding at that time, Snapchat, you would actually have to hold the button down. And then it would send it to one person, whoever, she had pulled up. And they were only able to retrieve it one time from that friend. So it wouldn't matter if the phone was destroyed or not, because it would just get sent to that friend. And it would actually kind of do the same thing. It would compress. And so I think that's a great possibility of why we're unfortunately looking at a compressed video. So it's just kind of some of the research that I.
Oh, that was awesome how you went out there and did that. I watched the video, so it's great to actually get scientific with it. And
And the other thing is, some people thought, well, maybe it's out of focus because Abby's t-shirt kind of pops into the frame for a minute. Mm-hmm. And so here's Nick standing at 70 feet away, and I was trying to recreate to see if I could cause him to go out of focus, and really only changed the brightness a little bit, but he stays in focus the whole time, even with the chicken kind of walking, trying to mess with its
photo bomb.
Photo bomb. But as you can see, it never really goes out of focus. It does cause that brightness, and you actually do see that brightness come into play with the video after he walks. But obviously that's like apparently Abby's shirt, and then you kind of see the brightness come up for a minute here, and that's that a little out of focus. But other than that, it's all compression. So, but yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think they should release more information if they do have things that will help them find who did this. More audio, more video. Because if they do have other things that only the killer would know, then hold on to those. But I think to help find this person, more video and audio is needed.
Yeah. So Tom Ann says, I think the first sketch was derived from the other video they have. I believe the sketch wasn't helping them, so they made a new sketch. I think the guy in the new sketch has info that breaks the case open. I think the guy in new sketch has info that breaks. Okay, so a young guy, I think you're talking about. Yeah, possibly. And Melissa, thank you so much for becoming a member. So let's see where we got. We got about. So you're going to leave about 8 o'clock, or you just let me know.
Okay. Yeah.
What since we're kind of getting close to the end, is there something that you want to kind of go over? What?
Yeah. If there's any questions in chat, I know you get a lot of people in chat asking questions.
Yeah,
so I just want to make
it's
sure
not all the time I get fig solves on. So if you have a question, let's definitely open the chat open. Thank you, Carrot Jet, for the super sticker. If I missed any, I am so sorry. So I think I've got caught up here.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of talk as you look through the chat that the 2019 press conference gets talked about a lot, and I think it was the FBI taking the lead. I think it was they didn't know who it was then, that they were speculating and they were looking to try and shake things up. It's the FBI tactic that they use to try and see if someone acts different after they have the press conference. And it's something they do when they don't know who is responsible. So when that sketch came out, I don't know if that was someone from a witness or if it was because I know they did multiple sketches at the beginning, and maybe it fit the FBI profile the best because they're looking for, right? They're also going to do a profile to look for the age of the offender. And maybe that's the only sketch that reflected the age, which is 27 years old is the first time a budding serial killer makes their first kill. So maybe that sketch looked like a 27-year-old. Not exactly sure where that sketch came from. There's rumors came from the south end of the bridge. So I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah. So we got one question. Do you think Trexler matches any of the sketches? Do you think hair is a match? I can pull them up while we're so here. That'd be a good thing. I haven't really. Let's see. I know I have. That's why I've got that. Here, we'll pull that up there, and we'll pull out paint. Let's just take a look. I know law enforcement kind of frowns on trying to match up. These sketches, but we'll just put them side by side, no harm, and just kind of look in. I think, he definitely has a lot of piercings, and it looks like he's had a lot of, the same piercings for a while. I know you've kind of had some pictures that were close to 2017 or even before. Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
So, Trexler?
Yeah. So it could have taken him out.
Sure.
I don't know.
Oh, sure.
But he might have the hair of the old bridge guy sketch. His facial features might look more like the young guy sketch. I've heard that people think he looks like a combination of the two. To me, it doesn't look like either of the sketches, but everyone sees things different. And sketches, they aren't pictures.
Yeah.
To give an idea of what someone resembles.
Yeah. And doing a little bit of research, when you just kind of, I've done a couple of videos where we just kind of went back and looked at, some famous cases of, sketches versus what they actually look like. There was a little bit of research saying it's about, 10% accurate as far as being completely right. Usually it's like one thing that sticks out, because there's always something like a big nose, huge eyebrows, apart, that's like with what's Ted Bundy, his sketch, wasn't really close, except they had where he parted his hair was spot on. And I think that would have stuck out to me. But looking here, the only thing that matches up pretty good is the bridge of the nose, the long nose with the young guy sketch.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this? This is the thing that I always thought was odd. So you've got the sketch with this guy here, which came from 2 witnesses and a combination of the video. But the 2 witnesses saw a guy with a scarf over his face, which would conceal the facial hair. But yet the witness, the one witness that saw the young guy, said he had a light goatee and mustache, correct?
Yeah, I think reddish brown
Yeah.
hair.
Mm-hmm. So it's like the one that has the scarf over the face has the facial hair. The one person that, and then the other one that saw facial hair doesn't have facial hair. It's so like, no wonder, the public is kind of.
Yeah, and my understanding, the first sketch, which is first release sketch, the old guy sketch, it's a combination of witness and also their best efforts looking at the video, analyzing it.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, maybe some facial hair was above the scarf. I don't know. But it's just,
I mean, true. Yeah.
a little bit. I don't know. It's tough, and especially gets confusing when they have a statement that's still on the ISP website as of a few weeks ago that mentions there are 2 separate people. It says that this sketch is they're of 2 separate people. The first person is not a person of interest anymore. We're focused on the second person, who we believe is responsible for the murders. But then everything from like 2020 on, they bring back the old guy sketch and say now we're interested in both of them.
Yes.
It'd be a combination of the 2. And to me, I think they're trying different things. They're not sure if it is 2 different people, if it's one person, and I'm sure they're disagreeing internally.
Yes.
And especially if you have Carroll County, you have FBI, you have ISP. Some might think it's one thing, others might think it's another. So
yeah,
I think there's some disagreement, which is normal, and that they're not 100% sure if it's 1 or 2 people involved.
Just kind of checking the just kind of quickly see if there's so if you have any questions for me or Fig, we don't always get to have Fig on, so if you have anything for him, he's done some amazing work. Just kind of scrolling down. If you see something I missed, just let me know, buddy.
Yeah. So the Doug Carter thing I'll address because people bring that up, that he said no witnesses. And my understanding in context of that conversation was he was implying that there were no witnesses after the murders, that no one saw any after the murders. No one saw someone. That was how I received it. Maybe people received it different, but it was that. Yeah, after the murders, no one saw Bridge Guy.
Interesting. I know I wanted to ask you. So let's see if we can just quickly take a look at just the overview of. Okay, so we got that. Let's just kind of pull up Monon High Bridge. And I missed that thing because you had a satellite image in that video. Unfortunately, I think we missed it, but which was really interesting. That had the white Ford truck because Tony Kline has a white Ford F-150, which is interesting. I know there's been multiple descriptions of vehicles, but it seems like a white vehicle seems to be the one I've heard the most, in my opinion. I don't know about you, but
yeah, that's the one that sticks out a lot. I got that from the Inquisitor. He does a lot of good YouTube videos, and he's the one who shared that. And I just thought, it was definitely interesting. But yeah, that's the rumor that it was a white truck. But yeah, you hear different things, and they don't mention it anymore in press conferences, that they're still looking for the driver of the vehicle. So maybe they found out who it was, or I'm not sure.
Oh, that makes sense. And so we're thinking that there could be a possibility because Kegan Kline looked up the Marathon gas station, which is right by Riley Park. So where is that? Here's the gas station here. and that was when did he do that again? Was that the same day, or was that just shortly after the murders?
Not sure the timing of when he did look that up.
Yeah. So, but it was pretty not long after. But he looked up the marathon, and there'd been some speculation that they could have had like a meetup spot at the Riley Park, which is, kind of bleeds into the Deer Creek and the Monon High Bridge, which would be kind of a good place to kind of keep, a low profile for sure.
Yeah, so I don't know if that actually happened, the gas station, the searching, but it could be interesting. If what do you need at a gas station? You need gas, and what would you need gas for? To burn something is another way, other than fueling your car. Would you want to burn maybe some clothes, some evidence? So just speculation, but that's why I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Going to the gas station after, maybe need some gas to burn something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Yeah. And what do you think as far as escape route? Do you think he went back the normal way, or I know some people think cemetery? You would think cemetery just because, less likely to run into somebody, but
yeah, you could think through the woods, just so you're not seen. So a lot of people say, well, it's the smartest way to go through the cemetery, but criminals don't always do the smartest thing, and sometimes doing dumb things is, for whatever reason, they don't get caught that way. So, or someone dropped them off and picked them up is another way. I know, like, what was it, BTK? He would park super far away, and then before to go to his victims' houses, which just seems like you're exposing yourself longer to be out there, because especially walking to that CPS building, you do have to go through a bunch of traffic. There's no way around it. When you come out of the woods, there's a little part where you do get exposed, and that's kind of where the theory came up with, well, what if someone did see him there, but they didn't think anything of it? He just looked like a hitchhiker, looked just someone, that wasn't related.
Yeah. Big Solos, I'm a whole lot happier to see you, my fig. Need to sleep to something, but think this is the opposite of sleepworthy. Dr. Fender, wow, thank you. That's very heartfelt. Appreciate it. Honored to have you on here, buddy. Let's see if there's just was there a vehicle somehow tied to a religious figure in town? There's a question. Miss Dewey says, was the vehicle tied to a religious figure in town, or did I dream that?
Might have dreamt it. It hasn't been tied to anyone as far as I know, not publicly. So I don't know. It hasn't been tied to anyone. And the vehicle hasn't been confirmed what type of vehicle it is. They just asked for a driver of a vehicle that was parked in the abandoned CPS building.
Yeah. And then maybe, unless it's a combination of the vehicle and then the religious overtones that have been mentioned at the crime of the scene itself, that we've heard a couple of times, which is a little interesting. So just to quickly recap. So let me pull up. Basically, I think this is. So basically, we got. The murder of Abby and Libby that happened in 2017. Then we fast forward to Kegan Kline, who they were raided early on in the beginning of that same month, 2017. And then again later on in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
November.
And then Kegan was using and Anthony, basically a catfishing account, which was Anthony Schott's account, and was in contact with not only Libby's friend, but then Libby herself. And then we have the Wabash River, which has been 3 weeks. They've been searching. They have kind of lowered the river, kind of dammed it up, so it's much lower. And they've now brought in a reconstruction team over this last weekend, and Then we have on September 1st, we have Tony Kline, so Kegan Kline's father, Tony's cousin, Travis Trexler, who was arrested. And he was arrested. He was the one that was living on Country Club Road, which is the house that Kegan says is kind of his alibi, basically. If you want to add to that.
No, you nailed it. And that's what we're hoping, that someone will talk, someone will give some information, and that this thing will get solved and some justice will be served. That's the goal.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Say, for the $6. And quickly, I'm sure several people have seen him. I think they weren't alarmed at the moment, so they weren't really paying attention to this guy. I think you talked about the witness. So they weren't really paying attention to this guy. Yeah, I mean, just everybody's kind of going about their everyday life, thinking that they walked past a guy that just murdered 2 girls.
Yeah, I probably drove by and looked at people today. I wouldn't be able to reckon. I don't remember how they looked.
I would be the worst witness. Yeah, I would be the worst witness. So, yeah. And so, and they're still searching the river. I checked on Reddit today, and then they did find a tire iron. Not sure if it's related. Could be just someone's random, junk that they tossed, but I doubt they were using that to search with. So it looks like this is something they found, but could just be something that was tossed. But one of the girls were believed to be bludgeoned, or at least hit over the head. So you do have that. I think it's more likely on the junk side, but we don't know for sure. Any thoughts on that with the tire iron?
Yeah, it could be related, or they're still looking after that. So they thought it was important. It seemed like, but they're looking for more things as well.
Yeah, and then so tomorrow, Travis Trexler will have his hearing. Thank you. I forgot who told me that, but thank you so much for that, because I'd seen it, but I just couldn't. I knew of the date, but I just couldn't remember where to find it. And so just check in here. So nothing else. Any last things before we sign off here, buddy?
Well, appreciate what you're doing. And then, last thoughts. If anyone still has some tips or needs to speak out or contact law enforcement, definitely urge you to do so. But appreciate you, Chris. Appreciate how welcoming and nice everyone was today. And keep up the great work.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, we have a great community, and I would encourage people, if you follow the Delphi case, Fix has some amazing videos. He's obviously the video we just watched, which was amazing. And then you did one, like I said, where you've kind of explained a good theory on what could be a possibility of how the 2 sketches, how he could have been wearing some clothing, got kind of freaked, or what was it? First, he just wasn't wearing anything. And that's with the first witness. And then he kind of went back to his, possibly his vehicle or wherever, and then got dressed up. And then that's where we see him. Is that the order?
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yep.
Yeah.
After he committed the crime, then he had to get rid of all the clothes, so he looked a little different. And then, that explains the 2 sketches where it could be the same person. They just look different. Oh yeah, for sure. Especially, I mean, like I said, the 2 witnesses had the guy had a scarf over his face. So really, I mean, I can only imagine that's not a lot to go off of, depending on how much was covered up. But Tom Eva, who throws a random tire iron away? Yeah, to be honest, that's true. I mean, that's that is true. So
Let's see. Wabash is littered with tools of crimes past. Yeah. See if there's any more questions. So anyway, so we'll kind of wrap it up here. And like I said, I appreciate you, Fig, coming on. Great video that you did. It blows my mind that, you kind of put some of this together 4 months ago. And let's just hope, I think we'll kind of figure out what's going on. Like if they release it tomorrow, then maybe it wasn't as big. Or if they keep them, what do you think as far as like tomorrow? Like I think that's going to be a big day. What do you think?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be revealing. And if they don't have anything else on them, then they'll have to let them go. And maybe it's timing with them looking for a weapon as well. And we have to, I guess, have our expectations kind of grounded. And maybe it has nothing to do with it at all. Maybe it's just for his DUI and he goes on his way. And that could be it. And that's a possibility too.
Yeah. So I think tomorrow's going to be a big day. I wonder what time it is. Usually they're kind of earlier, but look forward to that because if they keep them, then man, I think that says a lot. But
that will. I agree.
Yeah. There was one more thing I was going to say, but I slipped my mind. But well, buddy, I appreciate. Oh, and then just for everybody, the Murder Sheet did put out a new video or a new podcast. It's very interesting. I can't play it right now because I can't play the audio through the StreamYard, but it's very interesting. They do an interview with 2 prosecutors, and they just kind of share their experience of what's going on and how they evaluate from past experiences. And they think it's more likely that this is, all, connected than not. So if you're a fan of them, I would check out that latest podcast because it's pretty interesting. So, all right, buddy, I'm going to quickly put you backstage and I'm just going to play the outro. So thanks so much, buddy. If you want to say goodbye to everybody real quick.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being awesome. Keep up the good work and had a good time. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Fig. Put you backstage, buddy. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will go live tomorrow and we'll find out. I think tomorrow we'll say a lot. And we might try to have Steve on before he's going to be going out in October doing helping people with some basically some cold cases. So that's amazing. But maybe we can have him on just before he heads out and see what he thinks about all this. So I am now going to play the outro. It's the pet outro. And we will see you guys tomorrow. I love you guys. Have a great night.